The Highlight Incorrect Words question in the listening section of the PTE exam tests your reading skills as well as your listening skills. Let's take a closer look at this question type and find out what it's all about. Hi, I'm Sharon, and I'm a PTE trainer here at Benchmark Education Solutions. In this video, I'll tell you how this question type is scored. We'll look at a sample question, and I'll give you some important tips to remember. This is a very important question type in the listening section, so let's take a look at the details. This is the second to last task in the listening section. What does this mean? You'll need to save enough time to get to this important task because it's worth quite a lot of points, so keep your timing in mind. This task tests your listening and reading skills because you'll be listening to audio while you read the transcript. In general, the transcript will be between 250 and 300 words. There will be incorrect words in the transcript, usually around 4 to 5, although there could be more. Your job is to highlight them as the audio plays. Of course, you can't stop or pause the audio once it starts. However, you will have 10 seconds to prepare before you hear the audio. This preparation time is very important, and skim reading is one of the topics we discuss more in our in-depth lesson. Basically, you should use the 10 seconds of preparation time to skim read and prepare for the incorrect words that you will hear. Typically, these incorrect words will be content words, meaning that they relate directly to the content. These are usually nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And last, you will see around 2 to 3 of these questions on test day. Now let's look at scoring for this question type, which is also very important. Since this question type contributes to both your listening and reading scores, it is integrated. You will get partial credit for each correctly chosen word, but you will get points deducted for incorrect options chosen. So in other words, you will get a point if you highlight an incorrect word or a word in the text that's different than what you hear in the audio. You'll get a negative point if you highlight a word that is correctly spoken in the audio. A score of 1 is given for each correct answer, but a score of -1 is given for each incorrect answer. 0 is the minimum score. So let's imagine that our transcript contains 5 incorrect words. You highlight 4 of them correctly, but the 5th word you highlight was actually correct. You would receive 4 points for the 4 words you highlighted correctly, but you would lose a point for the word you highlighted incorrectly. That would give you a total score of 3 out of 5 points for this question. That's why it's absolutely essential for you to be sure of the words you highlight. If you're not sure if a word is correct or incorrect, it's best to leave it alone and not highlight it. There are a lot of potential points to be gained in this question type, so it's important to prepare wisely. Now we're going to do an example question together. Normally you would get 10 seconds to prepare and skim read, but we're going to go a little slower as we do the question together. Here's our transcript. First we'll skim read to get a general idea of the topic and start thinking about which words look like they might be incorrect. Remember that when you skim read, you should not be reading for specific key details. Take 10 seconds now to skim read. Okay, with a quick skim, I can see this is about lighting a match and the chemical components of that process. There are some keywords that I keep seeing, like entropy and reaction. As I skim, I should also look for words that might not make sense in this context. Remember, you want to focus on content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. From skimming, the phrase "blog of wood" actually seems a bit strange, so I'll keep an eye out for that. Another weird phrase that I see is "energy led by" at the end, so I'll just keep these in mind for later. Now let's start listening.
You can see both enthalpy and entropy at play when you go to light a campfire to cook dinner. Your match adds enough energy to activate the exothermic reaction of combustion, converting the high-energy combustible material in the wood to lower-energy carbon dioxide and water. Entropy also increases and helps the reaction along because the neat, organized log of wood is now converted into randomly moving water vapor and carbon dioxide. The energy shed by this exothermic reaction powers the endothermic reaction of cooking your dinner.
Okay, let's go over the answer. I'll highlight the words you should have chosen: activating, combusting, woods, decreases, blog, and lead, for a total of 6 words and 6 potential points. The correct words were activate, combustible, wood, increases, log, and shed. Remember, you only need to identify the incorrect words and click on them. You don't have to correct them, but we're showing you the correct words in this video so that by seeing the words, you can more easily remember what was spoken. Note how the incorrect words were different parts of speech to the words that were actually spoken. Also, note how they were all content related. And last, note how they were spread out in the transcript. Now that we've looked at an example, let's finish up this lesson with some important tips to remember. As you've seen, prepare as much as you can by skim reading because this can help you. Definitely use your prep time to your advantage. Use your cursor to follow the audio. If you already have your cursor on a word, it will make it easier to click if you see an incorrect word that doesn't match up with what you're hearing. You need to move fast in this task, but don't lose your place. If you do, try your best to keep going. Don't lag behind. Next, be sure of your answer. In other words, don't just click randomly if you get lost or aren't sure of an answer, since there is negative marking with this question type. This could negate your correct answers. Remember to focus on your content words: nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Also, keep the spacing in mind and be prepared for around 1 incorrect word every 1 or 2 lines. And last, don't waste time after the recording stops. With this question type, the work is done before and during the recording. There isn't much that you can do after, and it's better not to second guess yourself once the audio finishes. How did you do on your example question? Thank you so much for joining me for this overview video, and I hope it gave you a good idea of what to expect from the Highlight Incorrect Words question type. If you'd like to practice more PTE questions and learn more about the exam, check out our website or watch our other videos with an in-depth lesson and a helpful do's and don'ts video for this question type. And don't forget to take our PTE speaking mock test while you're practicing for the speaking section. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.